So for this video, we're going to take you from this point to this point, and wait until you see how easy it is with these lights. You're going to love this. So let's see what we can do with one light, two lights, and three lights. Now here's the thing, the third light, this is the brand new Ice Light 3 color one, the RGBWW. Don't know what that means, don't really care. All I care about is what can I do for my images? That's what matters to me. Great product, but I want to show you like why I love these so much, because I'm going to pack them in a bag for you to show you how I pack these things ready to go. And all this stuff fits in one bag. It has some weight to it because of the three light stands, but it's a fantastic setup. And these, oh my God, Westcott's dual joint, whatever they call them, fantastic. They were fun to shoot with. They were easy to maneuver in every different direction. Highly recommend. Don't recommend the other ones. I'm just saying, I'll show you that, but it's terrible. Anyway, let's get to the shoot. Okay, so this is called the dual joint tilter bracket from Westcott. This is not theirs. This is the cheap one that I got somewhere else. No, I don't recommend this one. If I mount it on the center one, I can, get it to stay just a little bit, but I wouldn't chance it. Now here's Westcott's. This thing's amazing. They really did a nice job with this. It is built really well. It holds the light whether I'm at the end like this or in the center. I do love it. It'll hold, this is like a boom arm built into your light. It's just fantastic. So you can shoot underneath that. Just think of all the things you can do with that. And it's easy to use while you're, shooting. You just loosen it and put it in any position you want, tighten it, it's done. It's just one screw, you're done. So I highly recommend this. I will leave the link for this as well in the description. Now, I just wanted to show you how easily this thing packs up. That's the whole kit. I can fit 4 lights in here easily. I love that for, travelability, whether you're shooting food or people. There's a lot of times where people do not want to flash. Specifically, they just don't like flash. So, something like this with this size setup, wait until you see the headshots I do with this. And believe me, there's so much more you can do with these with 4 on top of just 3. So first one was just one light. I want to show you this because literally you can use just one of these or 2 of these and get beautiful, beautiful work out of them. I'm not painstakingly setting these up. I'm just showing you, the one light, and this is the 2 light. The glasses are creating a shadow because that one light, it's easily correctable. I just wanted to get to the 3 lights, to be honest. I really wanted to show you more of the 1 light and 2 light, but I couldn't wait to get to the 3 light because this is their first color light like this. And it is an RGBWW. Again, I really don't know what that means, but all I know is, you can do RGB and you can do, the HSI or whatever the heck it's called, any color in the rainbow. It has the hue and saturation, whatever. It works. I'm not going to tell you the details about that kind of stuff because I really don't know them. All I know is when I set it up, it works. That's all I need to know. The lights are fantastic. Now I'm shooting in between ISO 200 and 400 here. I'm at f3.4 on the lens and probably around 1/60th or 200th shutter speed. That's fantastic to me. It works. It's doing the job. I love it. Playing with these things out of the box and getting used to them only takes maybe one shoot, and you'll really get the idea of these and the characteristic of the light. Remember, this is a thin light. It's long, so you can create a very soft look with it, but it is thin, so you can also create a harsh look and harder shadows with it, depending on your placement. But you can see the placement, you can see the light on your subject while you're shooting, which is fantastic. They're not powerhouses, and I wouldn't want them to be. It's not blinding the model at all. There wasn't one squinting moment through this whole shoot. They just worked and did the job. Now, I'm going to use that color light on her and on the backdrop through the shoot. And I just want to show you, the point of this whole thing is I'm not paying attention. I'm just throwing the lights as I'm going on the fly. You can do this. Like, if you're somebody that's just not into getting into the whole flash system and don't want to spend the money or the time learning to use them, this is an amazing system to get into for if you do need a headshot once in a while, or you do need to shoot people, or you need to shoot food or product photography. These will do it all. honestly, these will just cover you in any which way, shape, or form. Now, I wanted to show this triangle setup because I know, that headshot photographer always uses this, and, a lot of people love this setup. You can do that with these. Now, I'm just throwing them anyway. And I have her further away from the backdrop, so the backdrop's going to fall off really quick here. Now, for me, if I wanted the ideal situation, I would throw a fourth light behind her for the backdrop, or I would move her closer to the backdrop and the light's closer to the backdrop, so the inverse square law didn't kick in and the light didn't fall off as much. But myself, personally, I like this look. I don't mind the backdrop falling off like this. But again, you can do that without a problem. She has darker hair. If I moved her a little closer to the backdrop and brought that backdrop up a little bit, it may look better like this one. But in either way, this lighting setup, it works as well. Now, I'll keep the V format here just so you can see this, and I'm going to use that backlight. But I'm going to keep it close to the backdrop so it doesn't spread so much. It's going to create like a natural vignette. Now, I can pull it closer to her. This thing is not going to make a backdrop pure white with one light. Now, here's the kicker with this stuff is if I'm using the two lights in front and I had two lights in back, that would be spectacular because I can get full coverage on the backdrop with two of these, and then the coverage on her, with two up front. A four light setup to me is just spectacular, and that's what I'm going to end up with. But I am going to get another color one because I like the idea of coloring a backdrop like this with two of those. And I really like the tone of the colors that are coming out of this. Some LEDs, they're just really harsh. And again, it may be my, misunderstanding of the color lights on how to use them. But for these and having that long form factor, I can throw color on that backdrop and get a really even spread on it. In any way, shape, or form. Now, you'll notice that I'm turning these horizontal and vertical throughout this shoot just to get the spread of light going where I want it to go. Whether it's vertical or horizontal, you'll know what you have to do. I knew her arms were going up. I said, wait a second, let me just change that really quick. I changed the light. It was good coverage. If she goes a different angle, I'm gonna change it again. It takes 2 seconds, and again, that dual joint tilter really makes it easy. This is not one of my favorite shots, but I wanted to throw it in here. Again, I want to show you the good with the bad. I don't mind the setup, but I just think it needed a little bit more depth. That gray background went just a little too gray for me. Now, obviously, I could have brought that up in Photoshop or in Lightroom in 2 seconds. But again, I want to show you the stuff, the good and the bad. And what it looks like coming out like this. I did some minor touch up on her face, but the background colors and the colors on her are pretty much what they were coming out of camera. I didn't have to adjust colors very much at all in this. And by the way, just before you ask, Hasselblad X1D Mark II 75mm f3.4p lens. And I shot all these at 3.4, again, in between ISO 200 and 400. At the end, I took it up to 800 for a couple, but I figured, I really don't need this, so I took it back down to 400, when it got a little darker in the studio. I have all that studio light coming in, so this is not like the prime setup for this kind of shoot, using the color. I'm using the barn doors up front to, try to keep most of the light off the backdrop. But if it was darker outside, this would have been a lot easier, and got a lot richer color in the back. Now, I'm going to move that light, a lot closer to the backdrop, and you'll see the depth of it. I want to show you the difference, though. So, pulling it out in Photoshop or in Lightroom. On these, I'm going to actually pull out the blue just a little bit in Photoshop, so you can see this and what you can do with these. Because if I have that base color like this, I'm good. This is a great starting point for me. And the perfect thing to do again would be to set that right behind her, or have two of them to have full coverage on that backdrop, and then I can use the vignette in Lightroom or Photoshop if I want to add it later. But for this, I'm getting it naturally because of the light fall off, which, I don't mind one bit. But again, I didn't want to go all in on these and buy 4 to start and say, well, these really aren't for me. I'm happy with the version 2s that I have that, they'll do the job. But after using these, they are brighter. They're doing a much better job as far as battery life. So much easier to use. The version 2 that had these batteries with little clip on them, they were so hard to get in and out of the lights. It was a pain. And I also like these because when you take that battery off, they're a lot shorter, so they fit in that bag very easily. And I just have the batteries, on either side of that light stand bag. I'll try to find the link for that light stand bag because I really love it. But I'm hoping Westcott creates their own bag for these, where you can carry all these. I think it would be fantastic. Just my opinion, and I hope they are listening because I really want a bag for all of these. Anyway, so the shoot, it was fun, and you don't have to be afraid of these. It's not like getting strobes and learning how to use them and then, have it too powerful and less powerful. And you're not like fiddling around with it too much in front of your subject. You just move it where it's supposed to be. You can pick up your phone and dial in the intensity if you want. It's simple. That's the best I can say. It's just simple, and you can create beautiful looks with this lighting setup that would take you a long time to learn in strobe photography. So again, if you're one that wants to do this kind of shooting, if you do food, if you do people, if you do product, these lights are going to be a godsend to you because they really are that easy to use. And yes, I have to go to higher ISOs on occasion. Higher ISO to me is 400. So, and I know for a lot of you that's nothing. But see, I just wanted to show you the side shot so you can see how close that is to the backdrop. But I took the saturation down because I wanted that more like like her jeans, that softer blue kind of look. But you can see what I'm doing here. I love that horizontal on the backdrop with a gradient up. Just for a different look, and it's a completely different look. You can also close the barn doors and put a streak of light. It's completely up to you on how you want to use these. But the positive part of all of this is you can do it. I mean, like literally, you're going to take these out of the box. You're going to do a couple photos. Once in a while, you'll get a miss, like I did here, and then you'll make adjustments and make it look the way you want it to look without any headaches. And it's, it really is that quick and easy. And changing the color in the app like that, that's fantastic. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. If you have any questions about these, leave them below. I'll be glad to answer them. I will definitely leave my affiliate links below, but don't hesitate, before you buy, if you have any questions, reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer your questions because I really do love these. And every time I did a video with these, I just love them. And I've tried other ones. Believe me, I even had the I'm not going to mention names, but I had some expensive ones too, and I just didn't like them. I just didn't like what they produced. These have something, and the color quality of these at like 97 or 98 or 99, whatever it is, I know it's really super high. You can really see it in the skin tone. So I love that as well. Because right at a camera, I loaded them to Lightroom and I was just instantly pleased with the look of the images and her color on her skin. It just works. And this is the first time, honestly, that I'm just really loving the color factor of these. Because every time I use color, I look at the images and I go, yeah, it's okay. It's a nice novelty. A lot of people can do much better than me. With these out of the box, I was doing good that I liked the photos. I liked the look of the color. So that's a big positive for me. Anyway, again, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. By the way, the battery life, no problem. This shoot was probably an hour and 15 minutes, I believe. And the batteries lasted through the whole thing. Thanks for watching as always. I hope to see you again soon.